Hello, and welcome all to episode 60 of the Spooky Horror Show podcast. I'm your host, Sean. I'm joined again by Anthony.
Hello.
And as a reminder, this season's movie list was chosen solely based on box art. We're going to be judging whether the film is as good or bad as the box art, as well as whether or not we even like the film. Today, we are going to be talking about the 1980 action horror, I guess, film.
Action horror. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Cannibal Apocalypse. I want to preface right now.
There's no apocalypse.
That is not, well, yeah, there's that, but there's also, that is not the
Another
only title.
name?
Oh, yeah, that has a bunch. It's the
God.
70s. You gotta just fucking change it to whatever. Remember, if you'd like to support us on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, leave a comment. All of that helps us with the algorithm and engagement. You can also follow and rate us on any and all podcast services. This helps us with visibility and podcast charting and stuff. Links are all in the description. You can also scan the QR code that's below us,
QR code.
and that'll take you to every one of our links. Now that all that's out of the way, Anthony, how has your week been?
My week is shit. I hate when you ask me this fucking question. I do nothing. I stand around. There's no fucking work. I got 24 hours last week. It's fucking dying.
What do you do outside of work? It's not just work. Like, what do you do when you get home? Have you worked on any new Gundams? Have you played any new games?
I am using... Oh, I don't know how to say it. How do you say Ghost of what? Tsushima? Tsushima. Playing that, I mean, that's fucking great. And I've actually been using the streaming thing for Steam a lot. Like, yeah. I know I need to get a Steam Deck, but I use that on like the computer or my phone downstairs all the time.
Yeah, no, it's
fucking
bad.
Great.
I really don't. I think I played.
You don't go on the computer anymore, do you?
Unless I'm editing, and even then, I'll remote into my PC and just do it on the laptop, so I could be in the living room.
It's the convenience.
I had to finish the podcast, so like editing last week's podcast, so I was in here this way I could just use all my quick keys for the editing. But I finished it, got everything done, and I was like, let me play a game. I'll just play a game.
I saw you put on Helldivers too.
I played a single round of Helldivers, and I went,
and you were like,
no,
nope, I'm good.
I was like, I'm good. They fixed it. Playing solo, it plays a lot better now. You can actually like get shit done. Production facts. Cannibal Apocalypse, also known as Apocalypse Tomorrow, or Invasion of the Flesh Hunters, or Cannibals in the Streets.
Those are
the names.
That one's
barely.
More sense. But why the fuck did they have four different
Because it's
names?
The 70s, man. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's a 80s action horror film directed and co-written by Antonio Margheriti, I think, who also went by Anthony M. Dawson. It's based on an original story by Dardano Sacchetti.
Ooh, this is a name.
Who also went by Jimmy Gould. The film stars John Saxon, who people may know as Nancy's father from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes,
Elizabeth Turner, Giovanni Lombardo. Yeah. Like, he had a whole career before Nightmare on Elm Street.
He was good. I liked him.
Elizabeth Turner, Giovanni Lombardo Radis, I think. People may know him as Father Spoleto in The Omen.
Yes. Now I remember.
Cinzia D. Carlos, Tony King, and Ramiro Oliveros, based on the box art. What were you expecting from this movie?
The box art, honestly, I guess it gave me what I thought it was going to give me, but the name is just, it's not an apocalypse.
No, it's really not.
it's nothing close to an apocalypse. Yeah. On the pictures on the box, it actually is what is in the movie. It makes sense, but the name made no sense. So yes, the box art actually fulfilled its duty of letting me know what exactly I was going to be in for.
Like, I thought it was fine. I think it's one of the more creative box arts we've seen.
Oh, okay. Yes.
A lot of them have been shitty.
Yes.
Like, they're fine, but this felt like there was some sort of studio money behind it, and they made it very like kitschy and pop. It looked very 70s.
I couldn't tell if it's made in the 80s. I couldn't tell if it was a purposeful or if it was just that it was that time.
But yeah, what we saw. Actually, you know what? Hold on, because I'm looking at the box art now. There's someone eating something, and then half of Saxon's face is all zombie, but I don't remember him ever going zombie.
Not fully. He tried to bite the child when he was trying to molest that
well,
little girl.
No, he did bite her because he infected her.
Which I have many questions about that.
What, the weird pedophilic
the fact that it didn't. Yeah, well, besides the pedophilia issue, and what she didn't turn.
No, she did.
I don't remember her turning.
Well, because remember, they don't turn into weird flesh-eating like monsters and everything.
No.
Remember, her aunt was like decapitated and stuffed in the refrigerator.
Oh, okay.
She turned her brother and everything too.
Okay.
But that, we'll get into that.
Sick.
That was just fucking weird.
Okay. That was just sick.
When I told the wife about it, and she's like,
and that was like off the bat too. That was like straight out the gate.
It was just like, she's like, well, how old was she? And I was like,
she at least under 16.
Yeah, it's like she's definitely like a young teenager. Her brother wasn't that much older, and she's living with her aunt, where it's like, you follow all the rules, little missy. And then she's all like, hey, mister, I'll suck your dick. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing, dude? Like,
yeah, she did kind of simp him though.
That's not an excuse though. We're not saying that's an excuse.
No. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying as in like she was acting that way.
Yeah, but it's like he never pursued her, so it's like they made it seem like, oh, this young floozy fucking seduced him and stuff. It's like it was stupid. It was a part that just didn't need to be there.
No, it didn't.
They just put it there. So I was like, whatever.
I was very thrown off by it. I was like, what the fuck?
But let's get into some plot. The film opens with a flashback to the Vietnam War, where Norman Hopper is dropped in to find POWs. Yeah. They burn stuff down. We get a suicide bomb dog, and then a huge firefight with the weirdest 70s porno music.
I was so uncomfortable. It made no sense.
It would have felt better if it was like weird fucking Monty Python.
Yeah. But this just made it weird.
This is like, oh, so are we gonna fuck? Like that's what all the music in this movie sounds like. So I was like, I don't know, man.
So awkward.
A woman is lit on fire by the POW cell, and the prisoners pull her down into the pit with them.
And have barbecue.
After pulling her titty out, because you gotta have.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
It's just we need nudity. If you look at, there's a whole lot of like Italian names in all of this.
And there's
I don't remember. I think this is supposed to have been filmed in Georgia, but they definitely filmed this like it was an Italian film and everything, where it's like, oh, we just need nudity. Just put nudity. Who cares? Her body's been charcoaled. It doesn't matter. Her titty is still probably perfectly fine from being like underneath clothes. It's like whatever. But yeah, they pull her down. They start eating her. The U.S. military takes control of the camp, and now they're checking all the areas, and this is when they find the cell. Norman reaches down to pull his friends up when Charlie
Bukowski,
yeah, something like that, who's infected with a virus, which leaves like
bites
people craving like human flesh and shit, bites him.
They don't turn to zombies. It's a completely different thing. They just eat.
Yep. In Atlanta, Georgia, some years later, Hopper wakes up from a nightmare about this exact incident. His wife, whose name I don't know.
Honestly, it wasn't that big of a plot thing for me.
Because I feel like it kind of is, but then isn't. But at the same time, it's like a doctor is trying to fuck her, even though he knows she's married. It's a weird fucking like 70s, 80s movie that just doesn't make fucking sense. Like the logical leaps,
the flagrant cheating and shit. Like
she realizes that after Hopper woke up and went downstairs, that he's been down there far too long to just get his pills.
Yeah.
Apparently, he got distracted by raw meat in the fridge. She finds him like longingly like leaning against a door frame, and they just stare at each other until it fades to black. It's like, what is happening? Later that morning, since it was the night or the next day, I don't really know, she finds Phil jogging and asks him for his help with Norman. Now, Phil is the doctor who I guess looked at him and all his friends when they got back. And I think the friends are all still like locked in an asylum, but he got out. But Phil wants him in so that Phil can fuck his wife.
Yes.
And it's all gross because he's not an
so
attractive
fucking
guy.
weird. It's like, why does this even have anything to do with what the plot of this movie is?
He hasn't had nightmares in a really long time. And
now.
The incident that just happened scares her. So she gives him a ride, and in the next scene, he tells her, "See, you should have married me." What?
Yeah. It's so disrespectful.
What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing at all. He just had to get it out there.
With anything.
He just had to let somebody know, be like, "Hey, listen, I'm just saying this out loud. You should have married me."
Right? And then he turns around and goes, "Norman will be fine." All right, man.
Don't worry about him.
We cut to Norman flying an RC plane. After showing the neighbor kid how to fly, it cuts to, I'm assuming, the door for the hospital for nervous disorders, but the way like everything was moving around, it made me think maybe it was supposed to be like a title card or an interstitial, but I don't. Charlie is the guy that's kind of like skulking behind windows. He ends up showing this guy his ID and then is just allowed to leave, which then makes me think,
like it's a pass.
Why were you skulking?
Because the dude's fucked up. He's fucking crazy.
As he walks away, Jane and Dr. Mendez pull up. Jane is the wife's name. Dr. Mendez is the guy that's trying to fuck her. Is Phil, yeah. Dr. Mendez pulls up and he tells her that Charlie and the other guys are almost completely healed, and they were way worse than her husband. Keep in mind, Charlie was part of his group and he just broke the fuck out. Norman is still showing this kid how to fly this RC plane thing.
It's pretty cool.
When the kid's sister Mary comes out calling for him. Of course her name is Mary. She asks if his wife is home because she wanted to borrow her hairdryer. He tells her she isn't, but that he can go get it for her.
I just gotta say, if I'm pretty sure my wife would be pissed if I just fucking, not even if it was like the neighbor girl, just period, to lend it out without ever asking.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up and presumptuous.
Well, I just love that she fakes a leg cramp and then tries to seduce him.
Oh my god, that was terrible. He just went in there like his hand in the cookie jar, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work. Thankfully, it's just in the nick of time because he gets a phone call from Charlie. He invites his old comrade out for a drink. She's using the blow dryer like in his face.
Yeah, like flirtatiously.
And he is definitely not into it. And definitely not into her.
Who the fuck would be into that? Oh, well, okay.
He's like, all right. Would you fucking, like, no, go away.
He's a fucking child. He's a grown-ass man. He looks old as fuck, too.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen John Saxon not
look old.
Look old.
Yeah. He's like Steve Martin.
Charlie starts talking about their time in the jungle and something switches and he turns him down and then magically her pants are down and then he goes down on her and bites her thigh. It's so weird. It's like he's reminded, that's right, I'm a zombie. Oh, let me go eat this little girl's pussy. Oh, I'm gonna bite her thigh.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking weird. It's so weird.
They're not zombies, but yet they're just normal people walk around and have like an urge for it, or are they hungry for it? It's like, no, like they have an uncontrollable urge. I'm like, then why is this just happening now?
Like, my whole thing is, why did she have to be a young teenage girl?
They could have made it like an older sister. Yeah, like an older sister that was, at least of age.
Yeah. It's like,
it's still old as shit, you know what I mean? So it's still nasty. You got the nasty involved.
It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's weird.
It's wrong.
What do they say? A product of its time, which I think is just a lazy excuse. Charlie's just walking around the city when he comes across a biker gang harassing like a couple of girls.
Yeah.
He non-violently intervenes, which was surprising to me because I thought he was gonna like eat their face.
Yeah, my man kept it cool until later.
Instead, he notices a flyer for a war movie and goes to watch that instead.
Why would you do that?
PTSD should go do that.
Why would you do that? I was like, this is not a movie that you'd want to see openly. Does this dude purposely want to have problems?
I have all this trauma from being in the military and being overseas in this terrible fucking war that we should have had absolutely no part of.
Nothing to do with.
Let me go watch Saving Private Ryan.
Let me go watch that. No big deal.
Let me go watch Black Hawk Down. What do you like? No, that's
Patton.
So
Let's go watch some Patton.
This is so stupid.
Fucking so swear.
Enjoying his popcorn, a young couple sit in front of him and start fucking, which is
that was so fucking weird. Listen, I was a teenager. I did a lot of things in public. All right, listen, I did. But not in a movie theater like that. That like you have plenty enough scenes that you can see the whole entire theater.
Yeah.
And nobody said nothing. Nobody did like a Nothing. They were just like, okay.
This is
two shows in one.
This is why I'm like, this just has to be like what an Italian thinks like goes on.
The world happened.
It's like in America, they just suck in fucking movie theaters. They fuck children and stuff. It's like, nah, bro. I'm pretty sure that's probably you. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. Seeing this, he leans in and bites her throat, and as her boyfriend goes after him, think he breaks his nose. But this is kind of when like shit starts to
hit the fan.
But I can't really tell if he broke the dude's nose because it just looked like he was wiping blood on his face. So like I can't really like tell what the hell's going on. But Charlie runs from everyone in the movie theater. The bikers see this and begin to chase him down because now all of a sudden the bikers that were douchebags are actually really nice, and they're like, hey, we gotta stop this. Like, no. No, like,
I was like, no, dude, you were being a dick, and now you're like, oh no, I gotta save him.
Yeah, if you're gonna keep them disgusting, scumbaggy fucking bikers, then you keep them that. You don't suddenly have them go, yeah, come on, let's get them. Like, no,
we gotta kick your ass because you're a cannibal now.
Yeah, so they chase him into what looks like a flea market.
Yeah, it was.
I think, right?
An indoor.
Yeah, he grabs a shotgun and kills one of the bikers. So I'm trying to remember. Security guard comes running, and then there's a shit ton of screaming, and then the motorcycle comes. All the motorcycles come flying around trying to find him. While at work at the TV station, Jane hears that a Vietnam vet barricaded himself in the mall. Of course, she just immediately thinks it's her husband.
Oh, of course. If there was anyone that would have to do it, it'd be the husband, right?
Yeah. Worried.
Don't give him, the benefit credit of the doubt. Or nothing. Yeah.
No. Worried it's Norman, she calls the house to see if it is him there, but he picks up, so she's relieved. He tells her he was in the shower and that he's fine, but he'll talk to her later. As he rushes to his car to head over to the flea market, Mary runs up and reveals that she enjoyed the bite.
Oh, Mary.
After arriving at the scene, Norman convinces the police to let him talk to Charlie to try to get him to surrender to the police.
Which is weird. Like, what police just says sure? Well, like an active shooter.
Hey, cop, stand down. I've got this.
I got this. What the fuck are you doing, dude?
It works after a little bit of a rocky start with Charlie just blindly firing and cops still shooting tear gas into the store. He manages to talk him down.
I love that they just went straight to tear gas, too. They're like, they're just going to chemically get him out.
Is that all you need to do to negate tear gas? Pee on
it? Piss on it? I have no idea. That's not something I learned.
Yeah, I don't
see when I was in boot camp, you had to go through it. You didn't have to put it out.
Yeah. So I was just like,
you kind of had to brave through that shit.
Why wouldn't you like kick the tear gas away or do any of that? I said
pick it up and throw it back. Yeah. If Call of Duty made me learn one thing when I was growing up, you throw it back.
But yeah, I just like when he was peeing on it, I was just like, is that all you need to do to make it like go out? It was very confusing, but I didn't want to look it up. I don't want like, how do I put out tear gas? Do I pee on it? I don't want that shit showing up in my fucking shit. Norman walks him out of the store and tells the cops not to shoot. While being hauled away to the hospital, the leader of the biker gang, wearing an ascot for some reason, throws a baseball at Charlie. In his rage, Charlie manages to bite a police officer on the finger. I don't remember if he bit it off or just bit it.
No, he bit it. Not off.
Okay. Yeah. Because then we cut to Mary's house. Her aunt is fucking annoying. All she does is yell. It's like, that's all it is.
She's a dick to him.
Yeah. Returning home, Norman instructs his wife to wait for him in the house. And then he walks in front of Mary's window. They share a little glance. And then he turns away and grabs some firewood.
Was that the original plan, or was he looking to see if she was there?
I'm wondering.
Which one do you think?
I'm wondering if he can tell she's infected. You know, like that's my only thing. Because it's like he had no desire for this chick whatsoever.
Until he bit her.
Well, when did that happen? Charlie started talking about the time in the jungle, and that I possibly reignited the zombie virus thing. Yeah. And then because then it's like he bit her and then he was like, oh fuck, what am I doing? And he's like, you got to get out of here. So it's like, I'm wondering
if they say that they're cured and they're not cured.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm wondering if like he's like, hey, I'm actually not okay. None of us are okay. And I just infected this girl. Especially she's like, I like the bite. It's like, all right, man.
No,
fucking go away.
No, you fucking weirdo.
At the hospital.
That's so weird.
Charlie and fellow vet Tom get into a fight with the guards. Tom bites the leg of Nurse Helen, and then the vets get put into isolation, and Nurse Helen is brought to a room to be cleaned up and looked over. Dr. Morris gives her a kiss.
Yeah, that was weird too.
I didn't understand that.
No.
Dr. Mendez?
This is
the... Yeah, because this is the second time I'm hearing it. Do they not know how to pronounce Mendez?
Maybe it's just not spelled the same.
No, it is.
It said Mendez in the movie.
It said Mendez because he keeps calling him Menez. And the nurse also said Menez. Like they're not pronouncing the D.
I thought they said Mendez.
Yeah, no, they're not pronouncing the D. The D. They're saying Menez.
Oh,
Menez.
The subtitles was correct.
Yeah, because the guy's name was Mendez. Back home, Norman admits to the incident with Mary and his wish to bite a fellow human. It's like, sure, okay, man. He says all this to his wife. Could you imagine?
That'd be awkward.
Saying to your wife, hey, honey, I love you, but like, I don't want to bite you and infect you. It's like, infect me with what? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
So can I like go next door and bite the teenage girl? She really enjoys it. Like what? What is going on?
She likes to get bit on.
It's like, I don't fucking know, man.
All while having the weirdest fucking music ever.
Yeah. Making sure that she completely understands that it wasn't a sexual thing. Something.
Yeah, he made that a point. Yeah.
Came over him that he wanted to bite her, like Charlie was doing, asking her if he is going crazy. Yes. She tells him, no, you're not going crazy, and then tries to comfort him.
Yes. No.
Later that night, Dr. Mendez calls Jane and tells her that Norman might be experiencing the same symptoms that Charlie and Tom are, and that she should bring him into the hospital for a checkup.
Look at that.
But he's listening in on the conversation and is clearly upset that they're plotting behind his back.
Dun, dun,
I wouldn't so much say that she's plotting. She's looking out for the welfare of her husband. She wants to make sure that he's okay.
Looking out for the welfare of his pussy.
Yeah, he wants to get his dick wet. Yeah. That's all that he wants.
Homie seems like he's been simping.
After the call, she heads downstairs and spots him grabbing a knife. She tries to sneak out, but he catches her and asks if she's scared of him. It's a solid question.
Now I am. You got a knife. Yeah, that's like a fucking...
She answers in the most scared way possible, asking him to go out to dinner. Norman tells her that he loves her, and then he leaves the house.
Go do cannibal things.
Yeah, what are we up to? I think here is... I think we're at the... No, I don't think we're at the police department yet. No, I think we're back in the hospital.
Because they got the guy already.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of shit that has to happen at the hospital. So the police get the coroner's report on the mall shootout, and it contains warnings of cannibalism. At the same time,
which I don't understand how they can test for that, but okay.
I think they're just seeing like bite marks.
I guess.
Jane meets Phil, who has been trying to seduce her this whole time. He explains to her that the virus causes a biological mutation due to psychic alteration. All right, yeah. Now we're just like finding words to fucking throw together right now. That's all we're fucking doing, man.
It's like, you should have just said it's a virus, just like rabies. Yeah. That's all you needed to say.
Apparently, when he left the house, he voluntarily went to the hospital and talks to Dr. Morris about his symptoms and his well-founded suspicions on Dr. Mendez's intentions with his wife. Dr. Morris takes blood samples and runs some tests. Now we're at the police station, because it's like that's happening, because I don't think the nurse turns yet and does all that.
No.
I think that's after everything that happens at the police station, because at the police station, Captain McCoy hears a gunshot and screams, only to walk out and find the bitten cop has shot another cop, then bites another cop. Captain McCoy shoots that cop.
That's how it spreads.
And then Norman, still at the hospital, starts wandering and comes across his sedated buddies, Charlie and Tommy.
This is what happens. You can just walk into these places, you know?
Well, yeah. When the wife was in the hospital with her surgery and everything was taking forever and no one was telling me what was going on, I went upstairs and I'm just looking around.
Just walking around.
There's a note on like the receptionist table because everyone else had gone home for the night.
God.
And it just said, go push the button over there. So I went, okay. I walked over, I pushed the button, and then the doors to like all the hospital
the other
rooms,
way, yeah,
like the surgical like recovery rooms, like opened, and I just walk in and there's no nurses. There's some cleaning
there's no
staff.
security.
Yeah, there's no security. I'm just walking around. I'm able to look up at like all the procedures that's happening, and like I see my wife's like thing where she is. I shouldn't be back here. But everyone decided to go home, so I'm just walking around looking until finally the one of the cleaning ladies goes, "Can I help you?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm looking for a fucking nurse." And she's like,
at this point, I pretty much know where I'm going.
5 minutes later,
what the
two
fuck?
nurses come walking out from like some back room far away with like 40-ounce like cups of soda.
Oh God, like a big gulp?
Yeah, and like one of them just walks past me and goes into another room, doesn't even look at me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then she comes back out and she's like, can I help you with something? I'm like, yeah, where the fuck is my wife? They're like, well, what's her name? I was like, I told them, and she's like, oh, she's in recovery. And I was like, then why does that thing up there, which is up to date on where she is, say that she's not in recovery, she's still in surgery? And they're like, what? Well, that's not her. I was like, are you fucking stupid?
How did you say? I'm looking at her. Yes,
that's happening. That is the surgery that she's getting. They were like, oh no. I was like, wow, you were bad at your fucking job. I walked out, and then 5 minutes later, I got an update from the surgical team about stuff. I was like, I could have gone into anyone's. I could have legitimately walked in there, killed a bunch of people, and then left before any of that nursing staff knew what the fuck was going on, because there were alarms going off at the front at like the nurses station. And there was no one there.
Those alarms are terrible.
It's like, I know they hear it all the time, so they learn to ignore it and just shut it off. But like, if
you can't always shut it off.
Yeah, like, what the, it's so fucking stupid. So him just like getting up and walking around and having full access to shit, I 100% believe that shit could fucking absolutely happen, like without a fucking doubt. What is his name? Norman? Right? Yeah, Norman. He starts to experience flashbacks to the initial incident where he got bit by an infected POW, which
it was his buddy.
Yeah, it was Charlie that bit him, right?
Yes.
Was it Charlie or Tom?
No, I think it was Charlie. Charlie lunged out and bit him.
Yeah, because I think
trying
that's
to
who
pull
he
him
was
up.
like. Yeah, the doctor now gets attacked by Helen while inspecting Hopper's blood sample. Yeah, first she bites off his tongue and then she bashes his head in with a geode. Why there's a fucking geode in this motherfucker's office?
I know! Like, and she's just going to town lightly too. I'm like, oh my God, the amount of like meat coming off of his face right now.
Yeah, fucking crystal healing, like fucking whatever, man.
Oh, he's crystal healing, all right.
In an ambulance, the bitten cop gets aggressive with Captain McCoy. Mendez is contemplating how this happened and if it's going to spread.
Of course it is.
Yeah, because he's talking about that. She scratches Mendez on the neck before she dies in the hospital. Helen frees Tommy and then Charlie, while Norman kills staff members who try to notify the authorities. So now it's like all these motherfuckers, which it's like...
Oh, like banding together.
Because here's the weird thing.
Are they like all linked together?
Yeah, like what is happening? I can understand Norman getting Charlie and Tommy out of the hospital.
Okay.
Helen is just some random bitch.
Yeah, like, no, she joined up. She just joined up real quick.
So is this supposed to be like vampire shit where it's like the person that sires everyone is like connected to the like I don't understand what's happening.
Stupid.
It's very fucking weird. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So Norman, Helen, Tom, and Charlie leave the hospital in an ambulance. Jane returns to her empty house searching for Norman. Can't find him. Concerned about where he is, because then Mendez calls her and notifies her that Norman disappeared, even though she didn't know that he went to the hospital. So then how would Mendez know that he disappeared?
That he's at the hospital. Yeah.
The police are on high alert and looking for the escapees, but they stop at a gas station / tire shop, I guess, and find a gun. Charlie uses an angle grinder to slice up a victim. Okay.
That was the most awkward cutting I've ever seen.
And then Tom steals a station wagon and the infected leave with a pistol and a bag of snacks. Snacks being people.
Bunch of pizza. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
The people are chopped up.
They get confronted by a biker gang, a biker gang that Charlie already fought at the mall. No clue how they managed to find them.
Whatever. Yeah, they caught up to them.
They surround the car, and while slowly driving away, the gang lights the car up with a Molotov. Why?
Right on the grill.
Were they driving so slow?
I said the same thing to Meg. I was like, why are you just like lollygagging out of that? I would have fucking I just stole it. I would have fucking been burning rubber here. I would have been fucking running.
Fucking mannequins on the bike and just like back up into them or something. Like, Jesus Christ. But with the car on fire, they exit and the men get into a brawl. Charlie pops out the leader's eye.
Yeah, that was
pretty cool. Tom bites into the neck of one of the guys, and Norman smashes in someone's skull. After defeating the gang, they run away on foot and escape into the sewers just as the police arrive on the scene.
Which was kind of trope, man, like going into the sewers.
But I mean, it's like this whole thing, it's like everything is like super slow, and then it just like fucking ramps up because the police coordinate a blockade of the sewer exits in order to trap the suspects in there.
Which was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was very quick that the city got everything involved. That just doesn't make sense.
To the sewers as much too, you know?
At the Hopper residence, Jane is unable to make a telephone call and goes next door to ask Mary's aunt to use her phone. Mary and her brother greet her and let her use the phone to call Dr. Mendez, but the aunt is nowhere to be seen. The children behave super suspicious.
Because they are.
And ask her how come her phone isn't working, but they let her leave.
Why would you ask that and then not wait for the answer?
It's kind of it's kind of the same thing with last week's film Infrared. I feel like there was more to the script and then they cut it out.
We're not seen.
But then they cut out portions that just make everything else just not make sense. It's like if there was something in
there and you'd be like, okay.
It's like,
now
how come
it makes
your
sense.
Phone's not working?
Well, because of a reason.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, this was happening. Instead it's like, how come your phone's not working? Just leave. What the fuck is happening? In the sewer, Helen gets attacked by a rat just as the cannibals are about to slip away from the police. She ends up being shot by a cop.
Yeah.
Why are the cops wearing gas masks?
I don't know. I guess they were gonna gas them, or they didn't want to be infected. One or the other.
Because they were already told that the virus isn't airborne, and they're walking around in the dark, dank sewer. It's not like those are night vision goggles. It's just a gas mask.
No. Just a gas mask.
So are we supposed to believe that they're wearing these gas masks, not being able to see anything in the dark, and they still manage to shoot this bitch?
Them? Yeah. What is it, like 28 shots or whatever for that one guy, Bell or something?
Yeah.
And you're telling me they got this one? This was the one that they got right?
It's so fucking dumb. Charlie is killed by the police while Norman is wounded. Oh, there goes the thunder. It's fucking loud. I heard it over the fucking monitors. That means we had
a thunderstorm yesterday too.
Yeah, I get to now worry the next 4 days about fucking Hurricane Beryl.
Hurricanes.
Such a fucking dumb fucking name. So where were we? Charlie's killed by the police while Norman is wounded. Tom goes berserk, attacks the police, and is killed with a flamethrower because the cops are just walking around with a fucking flamethrower.
The cops had flamethrowers.
So fucking dumb. Even with a wounded leg, Norman crawls out of the sewer, steals a car, and leaves the scene. Jane tries to leave the house, but her car won't start, probably because Mary did something to it, because she's gonna try to fucking kill her so she could steal her man or whatever. As she comes back into the house, she hears strange noises and calls for Norman. She finds him in his dress uniform, telling him to stay away. Norman is hurt and dying, and Dr. Mendez walks into the house. Jane runs over to him, but he bites her as Norman shoots him. Jane points his gun at her own head, and 2 shots are heard just as the police arrive on the scene.
Yeah.
The infected children watch as bodies are being hauled away. The boy asks Mary if they'll be looking for their aunt, as her hand is seen inside the fridge. And that is the end of Cannibal Apocalypse, or Apocalypse Tomorrow, or Invasion of the Flesh Hunters, or Cannibals in the Streets. What are your final thoughts?
It was a very old movie, and you can tell. It did what it was supposed to do, even though there was no apocalypse. Yeah. That was not an apocalypse. That was a small event that we don't know if it went much further, you know?
For me, this is a 2 because the music was awful. The acting was kind of fine.
It was
the pedophilia is a no-go.
Yeah.
The zombie shit didn't make sense. It's like it started slow and then sped up and then slowed down and then it cut to something else. It's like I don't. The film was like all over the place. Like it didn't fully know what it wanted to be.
It's an 80s. The film was an 80s.
Well, I'm sure. Like if it was 1980s, it means it was filmed most likely in the 70s.
70s.
But yeah, so like for me, this is like a 2 out of 5 film.
I would do 3 only because I thought it wasn't bad.
We can go 3.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't bad. I thought it was
one of like 2, 3
that we've
films.
done a 3. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like it was fine. John Saxon was good. My problem is just really with the story as a screenwriter, like that's just something I focus on, and the story just didn't make fucking sense.
It went all over the place.
It's like, why is Charlie going to a war movie? Why is he seeming like he's the good guy, getting these guys to leave these girls alone just to turn around and be like, I'm gonna bite this bitch's neck. Oh, now the biker gang is the good. It's like, it just, how did the biker gang find him? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Why did they bring them back? It didn't make any sense. Yeah. They were done already. Their part was over.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. The whole thing was like fucking weird. But yeah, I could go 3 because I'm very much in like a 2.5 type deal.
Okay.
So it's like I can go 3. It's definitely something I'd say, like, give it a watch. It's quick. It's really free. Quick. And it's free. Watch it free.
It's free.
Next week we have The End ? That's the title. It's an Italian zombie movie.
Okay.
I have not watched it yet. I haven't even started the script for it yet. So that I will be watching this week. I think if you go on Tubi, you can just type in The End and it'll pop up. It should be The End ? And then you'll be good there. But that will be next week's movie. We're gonna end this now. This way, in case lightning decides to strike
and
fucking something, because like the thunder and lightning was so loud. It sounded like something fell, but I didn't feel any shaking. It's just, It made the crackling sound of it. So I'm going to go out and check, and we'll end the podcast now before power goes out or something. Thank you everybody very much for stopping by the Spooky Horror Show podcast this week. We will be back next week with The End. Bye.
Latest.